So, Kat, if you will unmute and you guys pull us up side by side, I'll start by just kind of letting you give a little background about, first of all, Kat, welcome.
Oh, thank you for having me.
Oh, you're quite welcome. How about this? Let's start with a little background. Like, who were you pre RTL, pre coming into our community and even being exposed to what we do here? Like, who were you and where were you at in life or occupation?
Yeah. So my name is Kat. I'm a registered nurse. So I work clinical. I've always thought that I'm going to be clinical for the rest of my life. I worked in the ICU, and then I worked when I'm from LA, California, and then I moved to the Washington D.C. area, and I worked as a stroke program coordinator. And so I was really in charge of leading the hospital to make sure that we maintain our Joint Commission certification as a stroke center. I birthed all my three kids in that hospital, and I was there for 5 years. And during that time, really two things happened. When you start having kids, you kind of like have that mom guilt of, you're working 9 to 5 and like you can't be there to pick them up or things like that. So that was like real to me. And then the other thing that happened was, well, I was on maternity leave on my third kid. The hospital announced that they would be closing in 6 months, which is like unheard of,
Wow.
right? And so I was like, okay, maybe this is like the universe telling me that I need to do something.
Right.
So I took that, and my husband was also encouraging me basically to find something else. Like, what is it that you want to do? Like, what is it? It's not just being a nurse. Like, you want to do something else. So I said I always wanted to start my business. And so he was the one who really encouraged me and pushed me to start my own business. And at that time, this was in 2018, I started my private duty home healthcare agency. And it's been thriving for the last 4 years. We've had great success in our area. And so now I'm ready for my new venture. And in fact, I started working on this, like trying to launch during the pandemic. But I just felt so, I don't know, like I thought I have everything, but then I didn't have that push, like to push, like just do it, just launch and then learn as you go type of thing. And just like, don't be scared. So yeah, so now I'm here, and I'm realizing my dream.
Absolutely. First of all, we just need to give Kat some love in the chat because I'm a mom and I heard you say 3 babies in 5 years. That needs to be celebrated.
Yes, 3
For
boys.
sure. While working, that's superhero. Trust me. I understand. Let me ask this though. You said that you wanted to be an entrepreneur before. Did you have a specific, like what specifically attracted you to the staffing space? I understand that you have your other business, but what about staffing was attractive to you?
So for me, it's two things. During the pandemic, there was a great need. It was almost like they would pull anyone, like a medical student, like anybody that they could pull just to work in the ICU or in any other in the ER, like just if you know how to take vital signs, here, take vital signs, right? So they were not picky at that time. They'd take anybody. And so that was the first thing that that kind of like, okay, like this is going to be like something that I want to get into, staffing. The other thing is that years ago, I'm originally from the Philippines, and I immigrated to the US. I was sponsored by a staffing agency. And so I came here, and my thought with starting the staffing is that, once I'm established and there's an opportunity to be able to, share my blessings to other people, to my people, I could possibly like sponsor sponsor them as well and give them a better life.
Oh, wow. That's great. That's
Yeah.
great. Isn't it funny how our purpose sometimes finds us? Yeah.
It's, what I learned, Nicole, is that, Dr. Nicole, is that things happen in your life, right? And then you just have to take it. Sometimes you don't understand, but years from now, when you look back and you connect all the dots, things always happen for a reason. And I remember this because before the hospital closed, I started to apply for other nursing jobs, in other hospitals. And I can't believe they wouldn't hire me. I, I was like, I just had so much confidence in my ability, and I couldn't understand why they wouldn't hire me. But now when I look back and it was the universe, it was God telling me I have better plans for you.
Mhm.
So I'm grateful for, everything that happens in my life.
Absolutely. So if you watched it, I know you were on yesterday, but I think we talked about the common thread throughout all of these sessions have been resilience. So if you had a different word to describe, like what pushed you, and I certainly hear resilience in your story, but I'm going to ask, what pushed you? Because there's people that listen, and like the way that you just talked about or described being able to make that transition and say, yes, I'm going to move forward. And yes, I just found out this hospital is closing. I've opened a business. I'm already doing this, but I still have this desire, and I'm going to open this door and explore this as well. Like, what is the word that would describe how you took that action? Because as simple as it seems, like in saying it, for a lot of people, they don't understand like what that transition is like. Like, do you have a way to describe what made you say, yes, I'm going to try this too, like to forge forward?
I don't know if I can sum it up in one word, but for me, like, I always want to challenge myself. I never just want to be comfortable, because I believe in myself, and I know I could, we could all do a lot of things if we want to, right? Like your the sky's the limit. And so I've always believed in just, how they say success comes with being uncomfortable. So I just really want to challenge myself. Some people call me, and they call me an overachiever. But I mean, you have one life. You don't want to be mediocre, right? You don't want to be like you didn't do much. So and I want to show that to my kids as well, because they learn through, what they see in us. Like my husband and I. My husband is a surgeon, and so they see us how, we work so hard, and we're always trying to be better.
Absolutely. Can you give us a moment, like just during the journey of launching your healthcare staffing firm, that you maybe like a moment you had to overcome, or something that you had to endure or push through? Because I know firsthand that when we set out to do something new, no matter how seasoned and experienced we are, life happens to all of us. So was there a moment as you explored this that you just had to like say, I have to move forward in spite of, that you're open to sharing with us?
Yes, no, absolutely. I was actually talking about this yesterday during our our graduation or celebration. On the first day, Charlene told us, first day, she said, something will happen, or something will stop you from realizing your dream, or from launching, or something in your life will happen. It could be professional, it could be health, it could be family. And I was like, okay, like what would happen, right? So I'm like, okay, I was just taking it like that. And then a week later, my operations manager quit on me. And I was with my other agency, and I was really banking on her to take the company as I start this new one, and I'm going to be like 100% with this. And so that was like a huge setback. I cried for 2 days. to be honest with you, because I didn't know what to do. And then I realized, these are disruptions. And there was, I think part one of the modules is about mindset. And so I've always heard about, like mindset, but it took me a while to really understand what that is, right? It took me a while to, when I was put in that situation, I had to change my mindset. And I just really had to change my mindset. And I tell myself, if there's a will, there's a way. So I need to find a way to make this work. And so I didn't delay. I still launched. I'm still on the lookout for my operations manager. I have 2 that are on the final interviews right now. So I'm excited. But yeah, I mean, nothing should stop you, and just keep going.
Awesome. And thank you for being willing to share that. I'm huge on being transparent, because as we all go through our journeys, like, we need to know that they're not like superhero god people, guru things up here just doing life and not being impacted by some of the things that we're all being impacted. So it just makes it really real, and it gives a human experience to achieving success, because life's going to happen. So thank you for sharing. This is my final question, and then I'll let you share anything you want in consideration of the award. But my final question for you is, what do you want people next year to be saying about your staffing firm when you're not around? Like, how do you want your name to be brought up? What do you want your staffing firm to be synonymous with?
Oh gosh, tough question. I think I would want the staffing. My dream for the staffing is to niche down into providing top level healthcare staffing to healthcare facilities in the RN, OR, and ER areas. And so my company name is Rockstar Nurse. And so I want people to remember that Rockstar Nurses come from Rockstar Nurse Staffing Solutions.
Oh, I love it. I love it. I love it. Absolutely. Kat, is there anything that you want to share with everyone who's listening, as some of them are approaching this journey? Some of them are already on this journey with you. And then, of course, our community will be making selections. Is there anything that you want to share as we close that you think would be helpful or important for them to know about you or your staffing firm?
Mm-hmm. I think it's just, we are all in this journey together, right? We all start somewhere. Even the most successful, even AMN started somewhere, right? So this is our somewhere. And so we just have to start. I think always remember that, as I've said earlier, that success always comes with doing something that makes us feel uncomfortable. We cannot stay in our comfort zone, and we always have to be willing to challenge ourselves. There's also this, and I live by this, I think it was 15 years ago, there was an interview with Kobe Bryant, and he said something about to always be the best at what you do, no matter what you do. So you can be a janitor, but you're the best janitor. You could be, and you could be anything. Like, you could be I don't know, nurse, and you're the best nurse. And so I've always sort of lived by that, and that gave me a lot of success in everything, in sort of everything that I do and I want to do. It's because if you give it your all and you give it your 100%, you're always going to be successful. So yeah, that's probably what I would share. When I used to be a nurse, I precepted a lot. Mm-hmm. And so I like precepting new nurses, because when I started, I didn't know anything, coming from the Philippines, and the technology was different. I didn't even know how to use the thermometer here. So it's always just being hungry for knowledge as well, and find people to mentor you who are successful in this area. And that's how I found you, actually. So
absolutely. Yeah. Thank you, Kat. That is so well said. Guys, can you share some love with Kat in the chat, in the comments? She's absolutely done the work while building another business, having a family, being a wife. That is not a small feat. And Kat, I want to personally say thank you for allowing us to be a part of your journey and allowing us just to watch this unfold for you. And we are incredibly excited about what's to come, and excited that you're selected as a part of this opportunity. So thank you, thank you, thank you.